What is up, Pats Nation? It is Patriots Global back here with another video, and the Patriots have signed free agent tight end Lance Kendricks. Now, I don't want to brag or anything, but in one of my most recent videos in which I said about 3 different guys, I believe it was, that the Patriots could still sign, I had Lance Kendricks being the tight end that the Patriots could potentially sign, and what happens? They end up signing him. Now, the funny part is that a lot of you got on me for including him in that video, including some fellow Patriots content makers, so I'm just going to flex on this one for a second. Okay, but back to the real news. So, of course, the Patriots have had an open roster spot for weeks and weeks on end ever since Jared Veldheer decided to retire, and the Patriots finally decide to fill that roster spot with the tight end, which is a very big position of need, especially with Ben Watson being suspended for the first 4 games. And right before training camp starts, I mean, literally the day before. Now, you might be thinking, okay, finally, we have our full 90-man roster going into training camp. That is ideal. And yeah, that would be ideal, except for the Patriots have yet again another roster spot open, as a Patriot offensive lineman has also decided to retire from football, which is a video I will drop tomorrow. So for anyone who still wants a signing out there, be happy, because the Patriots do still have an open roster spot. But Lance Kendricks is signed on a 1-year deal. How much it's worth, we do not know yet, but I definitely do not expect it to be much whatsoever. I do want to start off by saying that I don't think Lance Kendricks is going to come in and be anything too severe. He's not going to become the number 1 tight end. That is definitely still Ben Watson. But he was, without a doubt, the number 1 tight end left on the free agency market, without a doubt. And of course, the Patriots did try to trade with the Detroit Lions for Michael Roberts, but then that fell through, so they've obviously been trying to add depth to the tight end position for a while now. Kendricks is 31 years old, so he is getting up there in age, but he has a lot of NFL experience. I mean, he's played for the Rams and most recently the Packers. He is entering his 9th season in the league and has 125 games in his resume for the amount of games he's played. He's 250 pounds and 6'3", so he'll bring some decent height. He's a guy that is going to be a little bit bigger than Ben Watson, but he is not going to be as big as Matt LaCosse. Of course, the most ideal thing, and this is something that I said when I talked about him in my free agent signings video, was that I wish Lance Kendricks was a little bit taller. I wish he was 6'6". I think that would help him and just in general the Patriots a lot. But 6'3" is definitely not something that I'm going to argue about. Like I mentioned, his latest team was with the Green Bay Packers. He had a good amount of time. He had a pretty decent sized tenure with the Packers. He had about 2 seasons, and this past season he served as the 2nd tight end on the depth chart behind, of course, Jimmy Graham. He appeared in every game for the Packers this past season, and of course that's something else you should like about Kendricks, is that he's a guy that stays healthy, really doesn't deal with these injuries very often. But he was on the field for 314 out of 1,074 offensive snaps, so in total he played about 29.7 of the offensive snaps that year. So what is the big question that I'm sure a lot of you have, and that is, what is his sole purpose? That being, is he coming in for run game? Is he coming in for the passing game? Is he good at both? What is his purpose going to be? Now, he is definitely not going to be a Dwayne Allen type guy, as this is a tight end that is primarily a receiving tight end. Now, last season, he didn't get too many passes his way. He caught only 19 passes for 170 yards and a touchdown. But of course, that was just in Green Bay. They did have Jimmy Graham, who obviously is a better tight end, one of the better tight ends in the league also. The Patriots by far have a different look than the Packers do. It's going to be a very complex playbook that is going to have to come in and learn kind of late into the system, as training camp literally starts tomorrow. But the Patriots seriously do need a lot of help at tight end, so he's coming to a team that literally he could very well potentially make the team. Now, although he is primarily a receiving tight end, he is also still able to block. He's not a pass-catching tight end that is just extremely rough when he is asked to do inline blocking. Again, he is definitely way better when it comes to being a receiving tight end. Do not expect him to come in and be an elite blocker. Don't expect him to come in and be Rob Gronkowski or Dwayne Allen, but he definitely has the potential to be at least decent in order to get the job done in the blocking game. Now, as for Lance Kendricks in the receiving game, do not expect him to come up here and be, eclipsing 800 to 1,000 yards, as his best season came once with 519 yards. He was actually very close to eclipsing another season with 500 yards. He was actually just one away with 499, and that was in 2016. That season where he had 519 receiving yards, which was his best season, came in 2012. What I will say about Lance Kendricks is that he is a tight end that can get the job done down the field, because for his size, for him being a tight end, he actually is pretty fast. He's seriously able to turn on the jets. I mean, his longest catches in the NFL per season have been pretty insane for a tight end. I mean, his longest reception being 45 yards, 80 yards, 51 yards, and that was just 2 seasons ago. He's had very good seasons where he has put up numbers such as 12.6 yards a reception, 12.4 yards a reception, 10 yards a reception. 2 seasons ago, it was 11.3 yards per reception. Again, he isn't going to be Gronk. His play style is visibly and obviously different, but he's a guy that can keep the chains moving, and especially when the Patriots are trying to establish a passing game this year, because that was such a huge struggle for them last year, Lance Kendricks is definitely going to be able to come in and get things going. The only problem is going to be, can he get up to par this fast? Again, he's coming in pretty dang late into this offseason. Now, he's lucky enough to be coming in straight in the beginning of training camp, but he has not had the time that most of these guys have had learning the playbook. So that is something that he is going to have to focus on doing. Now, if he can do that, if he can really establish a connection with Tom Brady, then I don't see why he can't make the roster. Now, of course, again, Ben Watson is suspended for the first 4 games, so we could potentially see the Patriots trying to add a tight end, possibly just for the first 4 games. And that could be a position that Lance Kendricks comes in, or maybe Lance Kendricks bumps another guy out and Ryan Izzo's a guy that is with the team for the first 4 games. But that is something we have seen the Patriots do, is that they add depth because, a guy at a certain position is injured or a guy is suspended, so they have another guy on bench as a backup in case they so heartfully need him while this other guy is out. All in all, this late into the season, we are already again at training camp. This is the best the Patriots could have gotten. I am actually very happy with the signing, and I'm really excited to see what Lance Kendricks can do with the Pats. But that is it for today's video. What are your guys' thoughts on the free agent signing? Let me know in the comments below, and also make sure you guys like and subscribe, as it helps me, the channel, and even you guys out very, very, very much. Make sure you guys share this video with everybody you know so we can go to Patriots Global Family. And other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.
In Astroworld.